I had a fun idea for a video game today, and I'm really sad that it will never exist. I was riding the ferry back from Bainbridge, and I was thinking about Grey's Anatomy, because like he rode the ferry all the time. They always talk about the ferry boats, and you're looking at the Seattle skyline, and it's the exact shot that they show like 5 times an episode. And I was like, wouldn't it be fun to have like a weird dating sim RPG Grey's Anatomy game? I'm like, that sounds so fun.
Whoa. Like, would there be like medical stuff in it?
Yeah, like the thing that you do the whole day is like you be a doctor, and there's like cases that come in and out and whatever, and like that's the most of the gameplay. But then also you date all the doctors and maybe also the patients. And yeah.
Bridget.
Yeah.
We need to start our own gaming studio for Shondaland.
Yes,
because my big video game idea is Bridgerton, the video game, and yours is
that.
Grey's Anatomy, the video game. Those would both like kill. I know they would.
And I want to play them.
I know they would.
I want to play them so hard. Yeah.
I know that they would. Sorry, my gain is like out of control right now. Sorry, I'm just adjusting it really quick.
That's okay.
Because I was saying stuff and it was like really big.
It's because you're excited about it.
I am. Okay, Grey's Anatomy video game, Bridgerton video game, TM.
Yeah. I think it'd be so good.
The property of Bridget and Maddie, you cannot steal this game.
You cannot. Yeah. But also, if anyone wants to IM us and offer
But also,
your skills.
if you have a Shondaland connection and you have game dev skills, hit us up.
I just want to have like the choice to date McDreamy or McSteamy or, date a patient and cause chaos. Like that sounds so fun. I just want to do it. Yeah.
It's great. It's these games would be I really think that they would actually do super well.
I think they would. I think that we're missing the genre of games that women want to play that aren't just cozy games. I think we're missing that,
Yeah.
Like, I want a game that's not. I love cozy games, but I want a game that's not cozy. I want a game that's like sassy. I don't know.
Sassy.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Yes.
I feel like Bridgerton by nature would probably be a cozy game.
TM.
TM.
Bridget.
And I'm Maddie. Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we hang out, have fun, and play games all the way to the end.
Kind of.
Today we're kind of. Yeah, kind of. Today we're going to talk about The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. We'll give you the breakdown from its creation to its critical reception, and then we'll take you on a deep dive into the game as we share our own experiences and opinions while playing it. Then we'll close with if we recommend it, who we recommend it to, and our personal rating. With that, let's torture some koroks.
I see.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know, and I see we're going heavy today.
Have you seen all those like TikToks?
They're so sad. They're literally.
I have not personally done it, except I did accidentally like partially drown one as I was trying to get it across the river. But
that was an accident. I have accidentally shot one off the mountain, but I didn't mean to. It wasn't on purpose.
But I didn't mean to. A little preview right there into this game.
Yeah. Description?
Okay, Bridget, game description. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if I'm just so tired that I cannot figure out how to work the Nintendo website, but I tried to find their description on their site and I couldn't find one, and then I finally found one on a very cool like fancy page on Zelda.com. So that's the description that we're reading today. But I couldn't actually find one.
Why did they not have?
I couldn't find one on their PDPs or their product details pages for folks that Yeah.
I don't know what people normally call it.
I
My
know.
brain just...
Game details pages. But I looked up the store page where I could purchase it. And it didn't have a description on it. It's just like, this is Zelda, eat it.
I mean, it's a move. It's a move.
It's like, you should know what this is. Otherwise, why are you here? Or maybe my page didn't load. Either way, it didn't have text on it. So I gave up, which is a little silly.
Okay. You just have to scroll down quite a ways.
I thought I scrolled down far enough, but I guess I didn't.
It's not that good. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Or do you want to read yours?
Wait, no, I'll read mine, and then you tell me if it's fancier or if it's exactly the same.
Okay.
Explore the vast land and skies of Hyrule. An epic adventure awaits in the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom game, only on the Nintendo Switch system. In this sequel to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild game, you'll decide your own path through the sprawling landscapes of Hyrule and the mysterious islands floating in the vast skies above. Can you harness the power of Can you harness the power of Link's new abilities to fight back against the malevolent forces that threaten the kingdom? And that's it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Is that the same as the one on the other page?
You ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Explore the vast land and skies of Hyrule. An epic adventure awaits in the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, only on the Nintendo Switch system.
Great, so exactly the same.
Yes.
Does it just end there, or is the second paragraph?
No. In this sequel, literally it's the same. In this sequel, The Legend of Zelda, blah, blah, blah.
So that's the description, TLDR for everybody, is Breath of the Wild 2. That's all you need to know. That's it. That's all you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Maddie, you did actual creation and whatever today, and so I didn't have to, which was exciting because I was so busy this week. So take it away.
All right. So how it was made, I actually have kind of two parts. I have Breath of the Wild because Breath of the Wild has more content about how it was made, and I think it really connects with Tears of the Kingdom. But I will start with, obviously, Tears of the Kingdom is developed by Nintendo in Japan.
Right.
And the main leads are, oh boy, these names. I'm going to try my best. Are Eiji Aonuma. He is the main producer for Tears of the Kingdom, and he was also the main producer for Breath of the Wild. This is the same case for all of these people. All of these people are coming back from Breath of the Wild.
Cool.
The director is Hideyomaru Fujibayashi. The technical director is Takuhiro Doda. The art director is Satoru Takizawa. And then the last main person is the sound director, Hajime Wakai.
Hajime Wakai? That sounds like a real name. Yeah.
Oh boy. I really struggled through that.
I apologize in advance to anyone who actually knows how to pronounce these names.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I apologize. Those are the main people. And then typically, in Japanese culture, I noticed that, in the interviews and stuff, and I mean, I guess we do this too, they're referred to by their last name, primarily. Okay. So I'm going to do that. So the whole idea behind Breath of the Wild is the director and the producer, Aonuma, wanted to break the conventions of Zelda. And they had the Zelda studio in Japan, and pretty much they tasked the whole team, everyone, with that challenge. How would you break the conventions of a Zelda game? And that all of those pitches from all over the studio came in to the leads, and they got a lot of really good creative suggestions. That was a really good starting point for making Breath of the Wild and have it be a very new and fresh Zelda game. And one of the fun facts is that somebody said that their idea was that UFOs would invade and then Link would have to fight literal UFOs and aliens.
I love that. I would play that.
Yeah, and there was an element of them stealing all the cows. And, like, the cows getting, like, sucked up.
You know,
It's very funny.
There was an old Spyro game where that literally happened, and they had UFOs, and it was literally sucking up cows, and you had to go rescue the cows. So I think that person just loved Spyro. I'm just gonna go with that. That's canon for me now.
I believe it. And then the technical director was saying that one of the big limitations with Breath of the Wild and, like, a technical challenge is it ended up being this huge open world that you explore seamlessly, but they not only had to make it for the Switch, which is already like a lower powered device, but at the time, I don't know if you remember, they also had to make it for the Wii U.
Oh, I didn't realize that this is also on the Wii U.
Yeah. So they had to, like, that was, like, very technically challenging.
Yep. And wow, I'm surprised they did that, like, at all.
Yeah. Because it came out when, and the Wii U is, like, apparently, like, a big failure of a console.
Oh, I don't fail.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it. So.
I think it's, like, the only Nintendo system that I skipped, like, since I started buying Nintendo.
That's so true. Yeah. I have a GameCube, a Wii, and then a Switch. And then, like, all of the Game Boy.
All the handheld.
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak today. I've given up. Sorry, podcast people.
I can't speak today. Okay. So one of the main design goals when they started, so they knew they wanted to make it open world, and they knew they wanted to kind of have it be this, like, very, like, rewarding exploration game. Right. And one of the other main things that they were tasked with doing is they wanted to add creative ways for the user to take advantage of that open world. So, for example, when there's a lightning storm, your metal weapon starts sparking, and it might frustrate the player at first because they might die, but then the player can realize, oh, I can use this to my advantage and throw, if there's a rainstorm, I can throw something metal at an enemy and then defeat them that way. And then you feel really accomplished. And so it kind of was around, like, it really centered around these, like, creative ways to utilize the world. I watched this, like, whole documentary series that I'll link to you in the notes as always, but they wanted to make sure that if you saw something that looked suspicious, when you went and investigated, there would be something rewarding there, and there would be a discovery there. So, like, rewarding people, like, seeing something that's like, ooh, that might be something, and then actually rewarding them for doing that and rewarding that, like, discovery gameplay. Yeah. So the map of Hyrule in Breath of the Wild is actually modeled after Kyoto, which is the city that they're based in. Like, Nintendo's is headquartered in.
I had no idea that.
And that's, like, also the size. So that's also how they sized the world, because they were like, walking all the way across Hyrule should feel as exhausting as walking, like, all the way across a city. And so I thought that was really fun. And I didn't know that.
Were the actual, like, towns and places things that actually exist in Kyoto, or no?
It was, like, general neighborhoods, apparently, but not, like, one-to-one, obviously, because there's not, like, a volcano.
There isn't a giant death volcano in the middle of Kyoto? I guess I wouldn't know. Maybe there would have been. I don't know.
Gosh, there's so many fun facts. The sound director talked about how he wanted to center the score around piano and the instrument, like piano, which hadn't been done before in, like, a Zelda soundtrack, and also make it more ambient versus exciting or in your face. And he also used, it's really cool in the documentary, he used like Foley. Do you know, like, Foley technique for sound design? Yeah. So they use that for creating, like, all of the steps and noises that you hear.
That's fun.
Yeah. So it showed him, like, doing the, like, Link steps, and he has, like, each character has their own unique step.
No, with, like, different, like, items with different. That's so cool, with different material. I love that. That's
well, each of the main characters. Yeah.
If they did it for every single side character, I would be a little bit disappointed in their use of time.
Yeah. That can't be done. And then I'm gonna do one more fun fact. The art director talked about how he was struggling with how to display dubious food because he didn't want it to be actually gross. And then that's when someone suggested pixelating it. And so that's why like dubious food is pixelated, because he had like been experimenting, and then it was just actually gross, and he's like, I don't want this to be actually gross. And then one last fun fact, is the sound director also recomposed Rivali's theme music, the bird guy from the first one, to make him more likable. I don't know if you remember, but he had like kind of an attitude.
Yeah,
and
I do
so
remember the attitude.
they recomposed his music to try to make him more likable.
That is both interesting, and now I want to listen to them side by side so I can actually see for myself, like, is it really different? I don't know.
Yeah. So, Tears of the Kingdom. That's what. And now I'm coming back to Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
So that was a little bit about Breath of the Wild, and I wanted to go over it because it really like Tears of the Kingdom is a very true sequel. Same people that I mentioned before are all involved. And they did an interview about kind of how they approached Tears of the Kingdom, and their core concept was they wanted to stay in Hyrule and build on top of it. And instead of focusing on a new setting, focus on how can we make the gameplay and have new discoveries and make players feel that same sense of like wonder and surprise in a world that you're already familiar with, which was actually quite challenging, like, but exciting thing for them to approach. Yeah. And
I can definitely see that in the game. Like, I know we'll dig into it a little bit more, but I definitely see that.
Yeah. And Fujibayashi specifically, who's the director that I mentioned, he was very stuck on making a game where you could be in the sky and dive into water seamlessly. He was like very obsessed with that concept.
That's what the goal is for this. And okay, you know what? I see it.
All of these people had been working on Zelda games for a long time, and he had been wanting to do that for like multiple iterations since Skyward Sword, but I don't know what Skyward Sword is, but
Maddie.
I know, I'm sorry.
Wait, what is Breath of the Wild your first Zelda game?
No, I watched my brother play Ocarina of Time.
I don't know if that counts.
But yes. So, yes.
Oh my god, that's so sad and happy that you finally made your way into it, but sad because there's so many good ones.
I know. I need to play the
And you owned
the
like
old
a
ones.
GameCube, you owned a Wii, and you never played Twilight Princess?
Well,
you owned Game Boys and you never played like, okay, I was about to say the Minish Cap, but I think everyone hates Minish Cap, but I love it, so whatever, I'll say it anyway. But
I think it's just a like unfortunate side effect of the time we grew up in when I was younger. Like video games were kind of more for boys. The video games that I played like on my Game Boy was Mario. I was obsessed with Mario. Yep. And on the GameCube, Animal Crossing.
I did also play Animal Crossing on my GameCube. I think I lucked out in that my brother played a lot of games, and one of the things that we really liked doing was playing games together. We would play Kirby Air Ride like it was this weird fantasy game. We would make up stories and just like fly around in it. And so I played pretty much everything he played, and he played everything that I played. And so we got like a fun mix of stuff. And now I'm realizing how like special that was, you know, that I got the chance to do that. But you should go back and play them. They're still really, really good.
Yeah, I will. I mean,
maybe
I watched
we can do it for the show once.
Yeah.
Yes, we can pick one. I'll pick a
Well,
special
remember
one.
my pitch of Nostalgia November?
Yeah, we should do it. Okay.
Yeah. We can still do Nostalgia November. The last things that I wanted to mention, and I'm just throwing a bunch of like fun facts about the development because I thought they were really fun and interesting. Yeah. The technical director was like, we could actually make the like skies to water thing happen because we didn't have to worry about the Wii U this time. So that was a really big like reason why they were able to add so much more, which I'm actually quite shocked by because the Switch is not that powerful of a machine.
Not,
it's just like the technology is amazing. Technology is amazing. So for the music, the sound director, if you note, I did not notice this, but in Breath of the Wild, when things go from night to day, the music tempo gets faster, and then it starts slowing down as night approaches, and it gets slower, and then it starts speeding up as day approaches. Yeah. It's like very subtle stuff that's like super cool. And for this one, he really wanted the music when you go from the ground to the sky to transition really seamlessly. And the technical director was like, that was one of like the biggest challenges, is because like, when do you decide when the sky starts? I just haven't ever thought of that before. And I just thought that was really fun. Like, what a thing to think about. Did they
explain when they decided? Did they explain like how they figured it out? I want to know so bad now. I guess
we'll just have to pay attention in the game.
You're right. Now I kind of want to go play and be like, okay, when? Oh, there.
There it is. Yeah. Yeah. The interview that I had read with all of them, one of the last questions is like, what do you want players to take away from Tears of the Kingdom or like pay attention to? And so these are kind of the responses. The realism in the game was one that the sound director was really proud of, because he'd added in Tears of the Kingdom, compared to the first one, he added a lot more like spatial sound. So if you hear a bird call, it actually sounds like a bird call like in the distance, and it's in the direction that the bird is in. Whereas in the first one, you just like kind of more flatly hear the bird call. So I thought that was kind of cool. The producer talked about how he was really looking forward to, and this is the one that I was excited to tell you about. He was like, my best case scenario when this game comes out is I want two friends to go play the game and then talk to each other about it and not know what each other is talking about, because they did completely different things in their own way.
Ooh, I guess we'll find out if we met that either if we're too much the same person.
Yeah. But I thought that was really like cute that he was like, I love the idea of two people talking about the game and just like not even knowing what each other is talking about.
Actually, that's so funny, because I was reading through Reddit threads today as I was getting like the critical reception stuff out, and there were so many comments of people talking about stuff, and I'm like, dragon scales? I want you to get dragon pieces? Where are dragons?
Where are the dragons? You didn't see them like in the distance? They were going?
I guess I saw one in the distance. You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could like approach the. Okay, we won't
got rockets now, baby.
Yeah, we got lots to talk about.
Yeah. The director said that after Breath of the Wild came out, he had so many fans telling him that they wished they could forget Breath of the Wild and experience it for the first time again. And so he really wanted to make Tears of the Kingdom feel that way for people. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah, that's cute. Everybody has that moment with the stuff that they love, right? Like, you get excited when other people play it for the first time or watch it or whatever. That's cute. I like it. I like that.
Okay, so to tie a little bow on everything, my last thing to talk about with the making of, which I've been going on forever, sorry, is that the game was actually finished around March of 2022, but the game director made the decision to delay it for a whole year to add a bunch of extra polish, which is why there hasn't been like major glitches or whatever, and it's like, such a nice
the
lesson.
Double item glitch, which apparently was just patched up. Yeah.
I need to not update my game so that I can take advantage of that. I haven't done it yet.
Yes, you should not update your game from what I am reading. Don't do it. Yeah, if you out there have not updated your game, don't do it.
Don't do it. But I just thought it was like such a nice like breath of fresh air that they are willing to delay like a pretty much finished game by a whole year to add additional polish and make sure it was really the quality that they wanted. Like they released a game that they were really proud of. And I hope that it is a learning lesson
for everybody else.
For everyone out there looking at you, everyone else.
Red Paul.
Like, I love when that stuff is said, because it's going to make a boatload of money. You're still making so much money.
They would have made just as much money, I feel like. So it was such a big, I don't know, financial risk to wait it out and not release it, since Zelda is like a money maker.
But it's good. It's like better, and it's like better for your brand, and it's like better for players. Yeah.
I love it. What a good philosophy. We'll see if that happens for others or not. Yeah. I don't have the world's highest hopes. Although, they did wait, like what, they put Starfield, they pushed that back like a year. Yeah. I don't know if it was a ready game a year ago or not, so we'll see how that goes, but fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Critical reception. Bridget.
Critical reception. So, for what I found with critical reception, first and foremost, it has ridiculously high ratings, like ridiculously high. So, 96% on OpenCritic, 97% on Metacritic, 10 out of 10 on GameSpot. Pretty much anything that you look at from an individual reviewer is giving it like 8, 9s, and 10s. The I don't know if Google ratings, I don't know what they are, but either way, those are at 4.4 out of 5. So I'll just list that one as well, because that's probably the lowest one that I've seen so far, is a 4.4 out of 5. But overall, like, very, very good reviews. I dug a little bit into what I could find here for them, so I'll read out some positive ones, some negative ones, because I've heard some negative feedback from some folks. I wanted to capture it here. But first I'll start. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to start off with a negative one because I think it rounds it out a little bit nicer. So the primary negative feedback that I have seen, and the way that people have phrased it, are something along the lines of, this guy, unpopular opinion here, and I'll just jump into it. I'm team $70 DLC. So the TLDR of pretty much all the negative comments are, this just feels like DLC for Breath of the Wild. We can dig into it. I actually took some notes after reading that about, okay, does it feel like that? Does it actually feel like a new, fresh game? What does that look like? I think we can talk about it more, but that did seem to be the primary negative feedback. Things like recycled aspects of the game, like the shrines are the same, or the like primary way, like the map, the fact that the map is quote unquote the same, even though I know that there's differences. There's just a lot of pieces like that people are poking. Again, these are getting really high reviews, so this is a small minority, but I figured I'd mention it.
Yeah.
On the other side of it, it's kind of funny. First off, I found some person that rated it a 1 star, and then they said, actually, this is a 5-star review, and I just want to get all you losers out there that are looking at the 1-star reviews so that I can tell you how good it is, which I thought was so freaking funny.
That's very funny. That's very funny.
It's so funny. I was like, this guy, okay. But the other like positive reviews that I was seeing actually kind of mimic the other side of it, about how it's such a good adaptation. So one of the ones, a lot of the reviews I read were like very, very wordy. So I'm going to try and summarize a little bit here, but great adaptation to its predecessor. It does really well with what it had and built on it. Much more to explore if you are the adventure type. Plenty of objectives if you are more the linear type. Puzzles can be solved in almost any way you can put your mind to. The combat actually challenging, which is much nicer than Breath of the Wild. So that's kind of the other flip side of it, where they're like, no, it was similar, but they added so much to it. Mechanics are new enough and different enough and fresh enough that even though aspects of it were similar and building on that same world, that it wasn't DLC feeling. But again, really good reviews. And overall, I think I also saw people saying, like, actually it seemed like they increased and made a more unique and more buttoned experience than Breath of the Wild was, which I actually am kind of on the team of. Like, I think it was actually better than Breath of the Wild, in my opinion, which we'll dig into. But yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Fun. Yay. Okay.
Now, I don't want to get your hopes up too high yet, because I'm afraid that we're going to get some hate mail after some of this conversation. So also be mentally prepared for that, because I also have criticisms.
Hate mail
which
from
everyone
me?
should be.
No,
Will it be from you?
No,
Are you
no,
gonna
no,
send
I
it?
won't. No, I won't. I'm excited. I actually have criticisms too.
Okay. First impressions.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first, because you do it.
Okay. My first impressions of Tears of the Kingdom, the first thing I wrote down was just the sounds and how I miss them. It's very cheesy, but like I picked up. I like picked up so I'm one of those people that like really love Breath of the Wild. It's like in my top 5 favorite games of all time. And I just like loved everything about it. I'd never played a game like that before. And so when I like picked up the first item I didn't know, and it was like doodle doodle doo, I was like, oh, here I am. And then kind of immediately like puts you into a really long cutscene situation. And I was like, oh, okay, like it's pretty good. Like the intro is pretty good. I mean, I don't necessarily, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I don't necessarily think Zelda is like top tier story, in my opinion. It's more like, but that's not why I play it.
It has a lot of lore because there are
lore
so
heavy.
many.
Yeah.
I think this is the 20th game I read in the Zelda franchise, so there's a lot of different games and a different lore to pull from, and there's a lot of people that are so big of fans of the like lore that they know it inside and out. But I agree with you. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a story-driven game. Like, that's not ever really been the point. I don't know.
I genuinely could not really tell you the story of Breath of the Wild. I couldn't. I loved it, but I couldn't really tell you, like, the finer points besides, like, beating Ganon in the castle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first impressions. And my last first impression is when you, like, dive out of the sky as like the one of the first things that you do. I was just like, oh my gosh, what a way to start the game. Like, just beautiful. Like, it was just such a nice way to start the game. And then I also thought it was hilarious how he was like really drippy when he got out of the water. And there's literally like a timer in the corner. There's a timer in the corner for how long he's gonna be wet.
What?
He's like,
I love
Link
that.
There's a wet timer, and like Link is just wet, and it's like,
I love that so much. I did not notice that at all, but I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm really excited to talk about this with you because I, on the total flip side of you, played Breath of the Wild, and I honestly, okay, so I don't actually know how long I played it. I looked, and it said that I had over 70 hours on it. And I was like, there's no way I had over 70 hours on this game. I don't even think that I beat a boss. Like one of the, I don't even remember what you call them in Breath of the Wild. What were they? I don't know.
The bosses. Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever the
I don't remember,
the divine
honestly.
beast.
Yeah.
Divine beast. Yeah. I never actually beat a divine beast. That's how little I played the first game.
Wow.
And I love Zelda. I played it a long time. It's just Breath of the Wild was not a game for me. I didn't like it. And the getting into it this time, I was really excited for it because I wanted to see how they like changed it up and made it fresh, and I love Zelda, so I was super excited for this one. So I think it'll be interesting because the only reason I had over 70 hours, I realized, was because I gave my brother my Switch on vacation and he played Breath of the Wild the whole time.
Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh yeah, I've probably only played this game for like 6 or 7 hours. I don't think I've played it much more than that. So getting into this one, my first impression was I was super impressed with the sound design of it. Like, I love all the fun facts that you had for it because of all the things, the sound design of it was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. The cutscene, neither here nor there. Like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I actually went and looked up what is the story of this for this podcast so that I would know what it was because I wasn't really following it, but you know that I skip through text boxes, so I thought that was maybe
I don't even skip, and like it's more just like, okay,
we're playing Zelda now. Yeah. The other thing for me was the reason that I think I hated Breath of the Wild so much, and hate I know is a strong word, but I really felt hate in my bones because I love Zelda and I couldn't play it, was the Great Plains in Breath of the Wild. I couldn't get off of the stupid Great Plains because I had to figure out how to fish. And the way that you fish in Breath of the Wild is the most unintuitive bullshit that I've ever seen in my entire life. You just swim in the water and
pick it up.
Yeah, I was like, where's the fishing rod? I spent forever attempting to do all the missions in this Great Plain, trying to get a freaking fishing rod, and I couldn't get one. And then eventually I looked up how do you fish, and I was like, oh, you freaking throw a bomb in the water? How was I supposed to know you threw bombs in the water? Are you like running and grab it? So I was overall very upset about that experience. And so getting into this one, I was trying to be really like, I don't know, open-minded with, okay, is this going to be better if I take it in the same way of the last time of like, hey, this isn't going to be as straightforward as you kind of anticipated. Is it going to feel better? And I do think that their opening tutorial area, in my opinion, was better. It was a lot higher of a learning curve than I think normally I like for areas like that, but it was a lot more interesting. And the skills right off the bat to me were way more interesting than, and we'll talk more about those, but like all of it seemed already a lot more promising for me than what Breath of the Wild was. So I was actually really excited after doing that first intro kind of tutorial section, because I was like, wow, they're actually giving me steward constructs to tell me stuff. That's great. I love that. And I don't know. So overall, I think it was a lot better for me.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay!
I still have criticisms.
Yes, I do too.
So we can do, I really do have a TLDR of the story. Of the intro story at least.
So full disclosure, I've played this for probably 30 hours and I haven't even gotten to my first boss.
Oh, okay. I've beat 2 of the 4.
And how long have you been playing? Around the same amount of time?
I think around the same amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just our different play styles.
I
get lost. I literally like on purpose. I like go look at things and I go fuck around. Yeah.
Yeah. I am excited to do that more. I have only done probably one main side quest mission, which we can talk about because it was such a hoot. But I have I have beaten 2 of the 4. So I feel like I'm making some progress.
Okay.
And I have,
So do you want to do the little 2-minute summary or less?
Yeah.
2 minutes or less. That's our new adjustment of the story summary.
You mean your 45-minute story summary of Horizon Zero Dawn wasn't what you expected?
When I was editing that, I was like, oh. It's good. We learn here. We're learning.
It's fine. We learn. Okay, 2-minute story summary of Tears of the Kingdom. So this is post Breath of the Wild world. Something called gloom starts showing up across Hyrule. In Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda and Link, it starts off with you investigating to figure out, okay, what is this gloom? How do we figure out how to get it out of here? But there is a demon king underneath the Hyrule castle, and all of a sudden, shenanigans occur. The castle booms up into the air. Zelda falls into a pit to disappear, and Link floats to safety with this disembodied arm. It's weird. And you end up realiving with this disembodied arm as your new arm, which is the core mechanic of the game, where you have this arm that you get skills and powers through your hand. And that is literally like the TLDR of the story, is that now you, Link, are out to find Zelda and theoretically clear Hyrule of this gloom and defeat the demon king. And you do that through a series of temples where you're getting these, I think they're gods, to give you their powers so that you eventually can go fight the final boss.
Cool.
I feel like that was 2 minutes.
That was really good. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it was 2 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, that's the story. I have some fun notes about kind of the arm.
Yeah, let's start with the big mechanic, because it's the whole core of the game.
Yeah.
Kick us off.
So when you get your new arm, you walk out, and the first power that you unlock is the oh shoot, what's it called? I didn't write down what it's called. You can pick things up and attach them to things.
Ultra hand.
I
keep thinking of Ultra Feast, like cat food, but it's fine.
Ultra Feast. You don't even have a cat, do you?
I used to have a cat.
Oh.
I don't have a cat anymore, but
oh, sad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Although I think it might be Fancy Feast. That's fine. Just keep going.
Oh, you were thinking of Fancy Feast?
There must have been. Okay, no, just keep. It's fine. I feel like Ultra Feast is a thing though. Ultra Feast. Ultra Fast? No, that's not what this is.
It's not a thing.
Oh, no. I made this up. It's an office joke. It's an office joke. It has nothing to do with cat food.
It's nothing to do with cat food. It really doesn't.
Okay, never mind. Okay, let's keep going. Ultra
that's
hand.
Good. That's really good. Okay, so you get your Ultra Feast power. And
Ultra hand.
you can pick stuff up and attach it to other things. And the other piece is like in your little intro area, you start to see this like ghost figure, and his name is Raru. And when you first talk to him, it says Raru, and then like a reality TV show where they say like what the person is known for, it says source of the right arm.
I remember that. It was good.
And I don't know why, it just made me think of like, you know, like the Bachelor
in Paradise.
Or Bachelor in Paradise, and they have like, I don't know, their little
like
descriptor.
Love Shrimp for
loves shrimp as their like job description. I thought it was a really good redoing of the power in Breath of the Wild, which was just like being able to like lift stuff. Yep. Like this was a much more fully featured version of that, where you can like lift things, rotate them, attach them, and I really liked how they built on it.
Yeah, agree. I love that. The Ultra Hand, I was surprised that you got the Ultra Hand and the next two powers pretty fast. Like I didn't anticipate getting all three of the powers all in this tutorial Sky Island. Like I really didn't expect it. I can't decide how I feel about it.
I kind of like it.
Do you? I can't. So I think a part of my hesitation is a little bit that a lot of, I don't want to say all of the older Zelda games, but a lot of them was like you got a power at a time. And so you do a power and then a level and then you get a new power. And then it was like combos. And that was part of the progression, was the different powers that you got. And so I think a part of me misses that a little bit when I get all of them all at once. Even though it's really fun, it's still, I don't know, I feel very mixed on it.
Interesting. Do we want to quickly talk about the next two?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So the next power that you get is actually a power I really like, and I'm like, I wish every video game would have this now. You can shoot through objects up through the ceiling. So you can like look up and point a thing and just go whoosh up through the ceiling. Ascend, yes. Fancy name. And me just like, you shoot through the ceiling. That's what you do. But I really like it. It gives you a lot of creativity, I think, for how you navigate around the environment. Because now I'm like walking up against mountains and seeing if there's a tiny like 2-inch ledge, and I'm like, can I weasel my way through that crack? Like, can I do that?
Yeah.
And that was really, really fun. And then the last one is reverse time, which is just like, when an object is doing something, you can highlight it and then it'll follow its path backwards for a set period of time, which I actually don't use a lot. I don't know.
I forget to use it, and I think I've seen really creative uses of it in videos. I think I just haven't fully like creatively unlocked that in my brain.
Yeah.
In the moment. Like, because you can literally like reverse an enemy throwing something at you. And have it hit them.
Oh, I didn't think of that. That's such a good idea. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm like 2 levels below everybody.
In the moment,
here.
I forget to do that because I'm like so in the moment. I'm just like trying to like fight, and I don't remember that I can reverse the thing that they're throwing at me.
I honestly never even considered that as an option. So
yeah. The last one that you didn't talk about is Fuse, which is is like technically a power, and it's where you
that was a power.
So in this new world, weapons kind of lose their durability by a lot.
Yeah. A lot.
Holy a lot. Crap. And you have to fuse your weapons with other materials in the world to make them better weapons. That is like a really primary weapon mechanic. So how you can like level up your stuff. You can also fuse your shield with things and use that creatively.
Can you talk to me about how you feel about the weapons destructing? Can you tell me, as somebody who really likes the game, like, can you tell me how you feel about that aspect of the gameplay?
Yeah, I see why people don't like it. I totally do. I like that it forces me to use things that I normally wouldn't use. I like that it challenges you to play the game in multiple different ways and kind of think about things more, like combat more. I personally like it, and I see why they did it, right? Because it's like you don't want to just get a single thing and then have that be the only thing that you do for the rest of the game. To the point of their goal of like wanting people to have creative ways of like doing combat and beating enemies and all of that stuff, you know? It doesn't when you're only doing a single thing, it doesn't lend itself to that type of exploration and like creative gameplay. Although not everyone plays that way, and so it does kind of suck that they're forcing people into that.
Yeah, yeah. That's a nice perspective. I think I struggle with it a lot, and we can talk, I think, more in depth about the combat as we go. But for the weapons, just poofing, I don't know. It feels like, one, it's a part of the story mechanic this time that this gloom makes all of these weapons practically useless. Like, it totally destroys your like master sword, which is supposed to be unbreakable. Like, that thing just poofs at the right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it feels like the weapons break so much faster in this version versus Breath of the Wild.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I struggle with is I'm definitely a hoarder in games. I like to not ever use things because I'm afraid that I'm going to need them at later points. And I've had to start not being a hoarder, but I've noticed that as I do that more, it's less about the hoarding and more about, it feels like I have to, okay, for example, one of the bosses that I had to fight, I went through every single weapon that I have. And then I had one weapon left that was like almost about to die. I was sure of it. And luckily I got him to die before I finished my last weapon. But the fact that I had a full swath of weapons, granted I wasn't super upgraded, but like I had a full set of them. And the fact that I went through every single one and all of my arrows, and I still didn't, like I almost didn't kill the boss with all the stuff I had, to me was more frustrating than fun. So I feel like I'm in the camp of, I know that it's fun to be creative with some of this stuff, but I wish that it was just, I want to be able to use it. Give me one weapon and in-game playtime, let me use it for like 20 minutes. Like, I feel like instead it's like I can use it for one or two enemies. And that to me is just too fast for me. It's just too much.
I will say I think it is too much. But I think that they specifically, like I've noticed, they've added an element of how durable your base weapon is.
Yes, I did notice that. I did eventually notice that.
And that is, I think that's why the earlier weapons that you run into are super breakable, and it is very frustrating. So I totally get you. There's a balance that I think is maybe off there for sure. I got this like plus 17 like horn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was really excited about it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so powerful. And I killed like 3 dudes on it. Yeah, I was like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
It was very frustrating.
All the rewards that you get from shrines, because shrines still exist in this one, y'all. It's just a different, like, kind of mechanic. It's the same. Whatever. It's the same. The rewards that you get at the end are these powerful, quote unquote, weapons. And the powerful weapons, I lose almost immediately when I fight with them. And so the reward that I get, I know that you get like a little light bubble or whatever, and it helps you get your stamina and your hearts. I get that, but that to me isn't fulfilling. I want something more fun and unique, and to get a weapon just to lose it like a few minutes later as I get into like one fight with a set of Bobikins, like, I don't know, it's upsetting to me. I'm one of those people, and I literally right before this podcast episode read a Reddit thread about people being like, yo, I can't believe people complain about this. It's like so purposeful and it makes you be creative and all this kind of fun stuff. And I feel like a hater right now, but I don't care. I don't like it. I think it's misbalanced. I don't know.
Yeah. I can agree that they did not get the balance right there. From what you're talking about, can we talk about the shrines for a bit?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do shrine.
Okay. So the shrines are very similar. You go in, you get a puzzle, you get a thing. It like stacks up to upgrade your stamina or your heart vessels. And my thing about the shrines so far, which you kind of have hinted at, I think treasure chests that you find in the shrines.
Yeah.
They're like not that good.
No, they're pointless. Absolutely pointless. And I find
Like
everyone on purpose.
Yes. In the first one, I remember opening those treasure chests and getting like outfits. Yeah. And it took me so long just to get freaking pants for Link. And I had to spend so much money on a shirt. Dude was shirtless for so long. And then I just
did you never find his shirt? You didn't find his shirt naturally?
Like, wasn't it just like a very like ripped up situation?
Well, okay, so you start off and you get pants, and then you don't have a shirt for the longest time, but you eventually find the shirt in like the ice part of the tutorial. Did you not find his shirt?
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't find his shirt.
You just let Link run around in the nude?
Yes.
What were you doing?
And he had the like snow pants too, because I found the snow pants.
Okay,
and so he was like shirtless with snow pants. And I was like, this is a look. This is a look. They're going for something here. And then I got off the island, like off the sky into the ground. Off the sky into the ground. And when you find the first like area that has the lady that used to be a kid and now she's like hot.
Pura. Yeah, I love her. I'm like all about her. I am now her biggest fan.
Yeah. She's hot now. There's a shop there and they sell like shirts. And so that's where I bought the shirt. And it was so expensive.
Everything's expensive. Life is hard in Hyrule.
Yeah. Everything's freaking expensive. And the thing is, you can't sell shit now because, sorry, we'll go back to the shrines in a second, but I feel like you can't sell stuff now because everything is useful. Yeah, it's almost annoying how useful everything is. Like, I don't even want to get rid of a fang because you can attach that to an arrow to make your arrow have more damage. And you're like, ugh.
So I had started selling all of the gems that I was finding underground because it was the only way I could make money. And at some point, and I don't know if this is actually required, but it felt very required to me, was you had to get like a fireproof outfit in order to do the fire temple. And it was like 700 rupees. And I'm like, yo, I'm poor. I have like 20. No, actually, I think when I found it, I hadn't even understood the concept of selling things yet. Like I was still just running around doing the thing. So I had like $0. And so I decided I was going to sell these things. And then online later, I realized that you can put the gems on stuff to make it more durable. And I had just been selling them all. And now I'm like, but this is the only way that I make money. Do I keep them or do I not? I don't have enough of them to not do one or the other. It's very rough. It's very hard out here.
It's hard out here in Hyrule. It really is.
Maddie's running around shirtless.
I can't find a shirt. The rewards in the treasure chests are just a couple of arrows. Like,
I know.
What is happening?
It's like, here's your 5 arrows. And I'm like, eat this. Like, what? So,
yeah. Yeah.
Which is sad because I actually really like the shrines more in this one. But the goods are just lacking. Sad.
The goods are lacking. The goods are lacking. I will agree with you. Okay. What has been your favorite shrine so far? Or like, what was your most proud solve?
So I have solved a good amount right now, I think, so far. I have really, really just been enjoying them all up. I think my favorite one, and I'm not going to say favorite because I think it was the hardest, but I think it was like the second or third shrine that I ran into. It was one where you had a ball floating in water and you needed to get the ball up to hit a target above it. And then you needed to like do that.
Don't give me the solution. I haven't found that one yet.
But you have to do that in a few different ways to like get through these gates. And at the end of the day, I don't think it was actually that hard of a shrine. But when I first walked in, I was like, oh, and I like sat there and I'm like dropping it in the water a few times and it's just like going blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, this is not a solution. And I'm trying as hard as I can to figure out how to do this. And I ended up just walking out and keeping going because I was like, I don't want to keep going. I can't figure this out. And quite a few shrines later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot again. And once again, I go in and I run around and then I finally figure out how to actually get it to happen. It was a little silly, but I finally did it. And it was just a fun moment because for most of these shrines, I feel like they're not that hard because you have so many different ways that you can solve them that as long as you can think a little creatively, you can get through majority of them. And that
Mhm.
was really the only one I had struggled on so far. So it was just kind of fun to get it. And I don't know if it was actually a hard one or if I'm just silly in some ways, but I made it. I did it. But it was good.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
Yay. I think the one that I've enjoyed the most, and then I have one where I was really dumb. The one that I've enjoyed the most so far, just because I thought it was a really fun little thing, is like the one where it's like what are those called? The toys where they're like, they have a bunch of stuff in the bottom of it, so they're always upright. You know what I'm talking
like
about?
the
Like
little
a tilty.
birds, the dipping birds?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like how they're,
yeah.
have you gotten to that shrine?
I don't think I have.
That one's really fun just because it's like that dipping bird toy. What are those called? God, words are escaping me.
I didn't know they had a name.
Am I like describing it well for the podcast?
I think dipping. They're the ones that
it's
always
like
sit
even
upright
when you
because
try
the
to
way
knock
the weight.
it,
It's
it
just
like
called a drinking
pops
bird.
back up.
Drinking birds, also not known as insatiable birdies, dunking birds, drinky birds, water birds, dipping birds, and sippy chickens, are a toy that mimic the motion of a bird drinking from a water source.
Well, it's not quite. It's not just birds, but it's like anything that has like the weight on the bottom, and you can like tip
so
it, and then it comes back up. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
sense. So there's a
to
shrine
me.
that's based around that type of thing, and I think it was really fun to solve. My dumb one, which I gave you a preview, everyone, of my play style here, which is to just like fuck around and like not really be on task. Yeah, and then I definitely found out. And I hadn't gotten the glider yet, and I didn't look up anything. And I was like, oh no, does this game like not have the glider? Because I was doing like no story. I was just literally like roaming around.
How long
like,
did it
messing
take
around.
you to find the glider?
Well, so what made me turn back and go do the story is I went into a shrine where I spent a ton of time climbing and ascending and like getting to this really high up shrine in the air. And then I walk in and I can't even get to the thing because I don't have a glider. And I was like, well, damn. And then I turn around and there's no way for me to get off the island. And so I just walked off and fell to my death.
Why didn't you just teleport somewhere?
Okay. Don't make fun of me. This is where I'm stupid. I literally I just didn't think of it. I just didn't think of it. I didn't think of it. And so I was like, I kept dying and it was like game over. And I was like, I don't know how to get off. I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'm stuck. And I literally Googled it. I was like, I'm stuck in the sky. Someone help.
The real shrines were the friends we made along the way.
And then someone in the comments is like, teleport, bro. And I was like, fuck. Because it wasn't me. Like, no, it wasn't. No.
Okay.
Someone else had also made the post. Thank God they took the fall for it.
Okay.
I had the same dumb thing where I was
Shout out to that guy.
I'm stuck in the sky. Help me. And then someone in the comments literally was like, just teleport. And then I did. And then I was fine. And then I went and did the story a little bit longer. And then I got the glider immediately after that.
I still technically don't think I have the camera yet, but I don't care because the camera's stupid.
I don't have that either. Yeah, I don't have the camera. I don't have the... I will say... I have like 2 slots missing, so I don't know what the 2 are. Yeah.
One of the shrines that I really enjoyed, I just remembered, was one where it felt like I kind of had to play pinball with balls falling out. Mm-hmm. And the way that you figure out that you had to play pinball was there are a bunch of like little pieces around that I had actually never seen before. They just like stick wherever they're at. And I'm like, I don't even have to fuse them. I just have to like put them there. And I was like, oh my gosh, these can be like paddles to play pinball. And it was a really fun one because in order to like play pinball, you have to like get all the angles correct, which was just kind of a fun trial and error of figuring out like when do I hit it and when does it like come around. But there was the treasure that you could get, which once again, abysmal rewards, terrible, not worth the time and effort. But there was like a thing blocking the way that was hanging down, and I had to use my little power to wrap it around to make the cord shorter so that it was out of the way, and then I can pinball it over there. So it was like, that one was really, really fun. I liked that one a lot because it felt like I was walking into a different kind of game, like a little mini game almost in that
Yeah.
one. So it was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
I
spark of like, oh my God, this is pinball was really fun.
Yeah, that is fun. That's really
Yeah.
fun.
We haven't talked too much about the crafting mechanic. Like we talked a little bit about it, about sticking things, but I don't know if there's more description that needs to happen there.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So we talked a lot so far about that like ultra hand ability and doing the like fusing and all this kind of stuff. But one of the key fun things that you can do in the game and is required for most of these shrines and just for like traversing the world is they have this new race of people. At least I think it's new in Zelda lore. Maybe it's not actually new. We have the Zonai and their mechanical function, so things that like spit fire and things that like drop water out of them as like two really basic examples, but it's also things like wheels and birds that can fly kind of and rockets. And a lot of this pick up and append to things skill is the ability to pretty much Lego Minecraft, whatever, your way with all of these different like planks and wheels and things to create absolutely ridiculous contraptions. And a lot of the puzzles require you to do that, but also you just do it out in the middle of the world. And there's like little stations set up to be able to do that. I love it. I love it so much. It's so fun.
It is.
Have you taken advantage of it? Have you made a little car that drives around the land yet? Because I have, and it's fun.
I did, but I can't steer it, so...
They have steering mechanisms. You
I haven't found one yet.
Yeah, because I found... My favorite one was, like, I found and made a boat. Because I found, like, the little steering wheel. Or I found the steering wheel, I found sails, I found whatever. And I just made a boat, and I went sailing on the sea. And it was really fun. It was very relaxing. But it was so cute.
Oh, that's cute. As I say, my favorite like build discovery, which isn't even a thing that I really built, is I was like, what if I attach a rocket to my shield? And then if you do the shield, you fly up in the air.
That's so cool. I love that so much. It took me so long to figure out I could attach those devices to my shield.
Yeah.
And an embarrassing long amount of time because I picked up a shield that a monster had dropped that had like a bouncy pad thing on it. And so whenever it blocked, it boinked them really far away backwards. And I was like, this is great. This is excellent. I love it. All the TikTok videos also are absolutely amazing.
I need to delve more into it. I was trying to avoid TikTok
spoilers.
Stuff. Yeah.
It's all, right, at least our TikTok right now is all Tears of the Kingdom. Nothing else.
Yeah.
I've seen someone... I think my favorite one that I've seen online so far, other than just the torturing of the poor koroks, is somebody made a flying ship with rockets on it, and it was just flying around shooting rockets at the monsters below. And I was like, this is so intense. The amount of creativity that people have. I saw somebody make a Trojan horse, and then they ascended inside of the Trojan horse and then drove it into like a town of people. And I was like, this is amazing. I feel like I am not at the level that these people are at. Very, very impressive. I think that's a great segue into weird side quests. Do you want to talk about weird side quests you've done, since apparently you've played as much as me and literally haven't done the main storyline?
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I have two that I like, one that I hate.
Okay, I have one that I've done. And I liked it. So we can talk about it. So tell me about yours, Maddie.
Okay. So the ones that I think have been fun, one of them is the guy that's like holding the signs. Have you found him?
Holding signs? I don't think so. What sign? What did the signs say?
We're having the experience that the producer really wanted us to have, and I love it. So there's like a side quest that you can stumble into. It's like a series. It's like a big, long series of someone who's putting up signs for those, you know, those materials that are laying around everywhere? You know how there's a sign and it says this is a company?
Yeah.
So he's like putting up like a big sign, but it's too heavy and it keeps toppling over. And he's like, I have to just stand here and hold it. And then you use your creativity to balance it out and make it stand up straight without him having to hold it. And so then
That's
you
so
like
cute.
stumble into him and you help him hold up the sign. And he's like, thank you. And he gives you rewards. And his rewards are actually not bad. And then you can like stumble upon him at like another one, and then you do it again and they get progressively harder. Like the signs are like progressively weirder weighted, and you have to do like different things.
Do you remember where you first met him? Like, where did you find him the first time?
It was pretty close to the lookout that you go to at the beginning, because it's right by those pallets.
Okay,
I think it's like I think it's in front of Hyrule Castle, actually. You know, when you like first see that chasm area?
Yeah, I think
kind of that.
Chasm? Did you say chasm?
Chasm,
right?
I know. I just said chasm.
Okay, what's your other favorite one?
I like Farah the well enthusiast.
I have been in so many wells and I haven't found a well enthusiast.
Her name is Farah, and she's a well enthusiast, and you meet her in one of the wells, and then she's like, I love wells. Will you tell me where the other wells are? And she'll give you 10 rupees for every well that you find and tell her about.
I could be making so much money. I have been in so many wells.
Yeah.
How have I not found her?
She will retroactively pay you, because by the time I had found her, I had found like 3 wells.
Okay.
So,
3 is a poor man wells game. Get with it.
Oh, she told me there's like 60.
Okay, I feel like I've only found about 25. I feel like but I found a lot of wells. I have found a lot. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to how have I not found her? And yet I've not found her well, the most important well.
The most important well.
The most important well.
I just thought it was really cute because she's like, are you also a fellow well enthusiast? It's like, of course I am.
Yes. Who wouldn't be? I think that's a fun part of the game we didn't talk about is they added the sky, right? Like the sky levels. Yeah. The map theoretically is kind of the same on the ground level, but with extra shenanigans because of all the gloom. But then there's a bottom layer that didn't exist before. And a lot of those you find through the wells, which is really fun.
Bottom layer and a top layer.
Yeah, I like it. So my favorite and only, I actually played through the whole storyline in this little town. It was a town that I recognized from Breath of the Wild, which is why I stuck around, because I was like, oh, it's kind of fun that I found a town that was familiar to me. And it was with Cece, if you remember her. And she has started this fashion company where she has very stylish mushroom themed fashion. And I was like, of course, I'm going to do this fashion-themed storyline. Yes, hello, welcome. And it turns into this, like, tiny town political mayor, like, race between the people who like vegetables and then the people who like fashion. It's such a strange theme. But if you end up, like, figuring out their secrets, like, you have to stalk them and do shenanigans. And then you help like spread the word of Cece and help the mayor who loves vegetables like bring a new vegetable or a new product into the town. If you do all this stuff, then she gives you this ridiculous hat. I cannot explain to you how ridiculous this hat is. Oh, that
sounds so wonderful.
I think it probably has like negative impact to my actual like stats, but it's this giant thing with feathers all over it and a pink bob.
Amazing.
And it makes Link have a pink bob and blue lipstick and earrings, and it's the best thing I've ever seen. And so I've been running around beating these bosses in my little pink bob, and it's everything.
I love that so much.
So you should go find that one because it's good.
Yeah,
the best reward I've found so far.
That sounds amazing. I love that. I want that hat. Okay. Can we talk about the one that I hate?
Yes,
and I wonder if you've stumbled into it. So I stumbled into a person who had a cart full of stuffed animals.
I am not, no. But I'm sad that this is one that you hate because that sounds kind of adorable.
Well, you walk up to her because she's like kind of mumbling, and then it has the thing where it's like, oh, you should go talk to her. Mm-hmm. And and then you like scare her by accident because you talk to her, and then her horse gets scared and like bucks a little bit, and so all of the stuffed animals fly out of the cart and into the water, and then she's like, you should help me pick them up because you were the one that scared my horse, but you have to pay me 20 rupees as a down payment so I know that you're not just going to take my stuffed animals. And then you start and you have to pick up all 10 stuffed animals in the time span of 2 minutes and put them back in the cart, and they're all like floating in the water. And I did not even get close. I got like 4 of them in the cart. And then she's like, "Oh, I have to keep it because you didn't get all my stuff." And so she just straight
you
up
only get
stole.
one chance? You only get one
Yes.
chance?
Yes. And if you try again, you have to pay her another 20 rupees.
I'm so poor. I can't afford 20 rupees to get stuffed animals
Exactly.
out. Do you have to start over if you pay another 20?
You
do
have
the
to
4
start
stay in the
over. All 10.
Okay. I will avoid this stuffed animal cart. I'm not about it.
No.
I don't want to do it.
It's awful.
No.
It's awful.
I will say that I stumbled upon a similarly difficult one, but I don't know if that's because I'm just not creative and also terrible at combat. But there's like a whole town that's been overridden by monsters. I think they're Bobikins. I don't remember which ones.
Mm-hmm.
But totally and completely overrun by them. And I have to go and kill all of the monsters, obviously, so everyone can return to their home. And this quest is like littered throughout that whole area. Like literally every single person I run into is like, yeah, I'm living here because my hometown is overrun. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to go figure out how to overrun this town.
Yeah.
I played this. I swear to God, of the 20 plus hours I played, I think I played this one for 2 hours and I still haven't beat it. And it is absolutely impossible because the ones that I'm fighting are like, I swear the highest level ones are the black colored ones, which I think are the highest level of these monster. And they one hit me even at like 8 hearts or 7 hearts or whatever I'm at. I get one hit, and the weapons that I have aren't strong enough right now, I guess. Like I even fighting with my 30 level, like 30 damage point weapon, and I try as hard as I can, and I've gotten about half of them downed, and there's nothing I can do because I get one hit every single time, and it's devastating, and that one I hate.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I can take the depression of not being able to get stuffed animals, but at least I don't have to pay every time I try to kill them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, I do not negatives.
It's like, damn. And she's rude too. She's like,
she sounds rude.
Oh, you didn't do it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep your money.
Rude.
Yeah.
We hate her.
Rude.
She's gross.
Let's get into our like more critical points that we have about the game. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You start.
Okay. Mine is a little dumb, but I don't think it's that dumb. In that I had a very hard time with the controls. So outside of just getting used to a Switch controller again, because I primarily play on like Xbox, and so that just like takes a while because you press the wrong buttons. But even outside of that, the power arm is his right arm, but you press the left trigger for the powers.
Yes,
and
I do that all the time.
Constantly pressing the wrong buttons for things.
Yep.
I don't know if it's me, but I also have seen like I watch streamers do the beginning because I was just curious, how are like other people playing this game? And a lot of other streamers were having similar issues where they were pressing the wrong triggers for stuff. And I'm not necessarily like suggesting things because I'm not a game designer, but I just think that it could have been like way more intuitive, and some of the controls are just really cumbersome. Like the rotating is really hard to get used to. I like that it's there, but like it's pretty challenging to wrap your head around. And so that's kind of my biggest criticism is just...
I don't think that's silly. No, I agree. I wrote something similar, and it wasn't one of the things that made me meh about it, but it definitely, the controls didn't seem accessible to me. Like, I had actually written down, I totally see your point with like the triggers. I press the wrong ones all the time, but I'm just bad at buttons, so I was like, oh, maybe that's just me. I was
No.
upset about the sprinting. I really wish the sprint was just a press of the left stick. Because when I have to use a different hand, I can't fight and sprint at the same time. And
Yeah.
I don't know if that was done on purpose to make sure that that just really wasn't like a way that you could play, but it
And you
makes it pretty
can't dodge
impossible.
and like you have to like focus to dodge, which I
Yeah,
also hate.
which is a lot. And then the other one that I noticed that I really didn't like is the way that you attach things to arrows. You have to press and hold about like 3 different buttons at a time and in order to like attach it. And if you
Mhm.
press the wrong button while you're doing that, it'll attach the wrong thing. Or I actually blew myself up once accidentally because I was attempting to switch to a different thing and attach it, and in the middle I pressed the bomb arrow, and I was in a place
Ugh.
where like bombs automatically go off because of the environment, and my
Mhm.
whole like I got blown up in the
Mm.
middle of this fight, and it wasn't even what I was trying to do. I was just trying to attach a thing to my arrow. And
Yeah.
if you want to attach things to your arrows, you can't do a thing like I want to pick my eyeball arrows every time. You have to every single arrow you shoot attach something with
Mhm.
these like weird 3 button combination, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to do. Like I think it's a
It
little
is.
rough, a little
It is. It's
clunky.
rough. It's definitely
Yeah.
rough. It's definitely
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah. I don't know if cooking also counts in that section, but the cooking is ridiculous to me. I hate that I have to select stuff and drop it in a pot or drop it next to it. It sucks. I hate it.
I do wish that you could go into like a mode,
Yeah, a cooking
like
mode.
a bulk cooking mode or something,
Yeah.
and then you have like your inventory in the pot, and
Yeah.
then you just like
Yeah,
yeah.
like copy Genshin for that. Like it doesn't have to be hard or like new. Just let me not have to deal with what it is. Because when you press A next to a cooking fire, it actually asks you to like sit and skip time instead of cooking. Like pressing A at a fire, I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
you have
It's
to
a
like go
weird.
into your inventory, select the things, and then like cook them in the pot, and it's too many steps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that really the only negative that you had though? You didn't have any
That's
other?
like the primary negative. Yeah, that's like my primary issue at the moment, but I've not done as much like
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I mean, I've just
Yeah.
been exploring, and that's like my favorite part of the game. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think my biggest negative that I have is really just the combat in general, the combat difficulty. When I mentioned in that one area that it was one hit and would die, I would
mhm.
get one hit and one shotted practically everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that part is ridiculously frustrating just because I have to kill
Mhm.
so many, but
Mhm.
I really get one shotted just about every single like enemy I find. It's not even the bosses. It's not those really like, you know how sometimes you run into an enemy and it's clearly like a bigger one, but
Yeah.
literally the itty bitty ones that you find just running around the environment one shot me with their really ridiculously lame tools. Like
Yeah.
it's really frustrating for me,
Yeah.
and I was trying to think about it. I'm like, why in the world would they have balanced it this way? I don't
Mhm.
get it because I have tools that unless I do like and trick it out a bunch with this fusing ability, takes like 10 hits to kill
Yeah.
one, and then they
Yeah.
one shot me.
Yeah.
It's really, really frustrating. And it's gotten to the point where I skip combat like 95% of the time as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play that way. I like fighting stuff.
Yeah.
I like getting the rewards for clearing camps. When I see them there, I like to go fight them. And I tried to do that and it's practically impossible. And I understand that maybe it gets better like mid to late game, but in my opinion, it's really not fun as an early game player to have to do combat that way, and I just really wish they would
Mhm.
have scaled it better. And then the cherry on top of like that combat is I have played 2 of the like bosses so far. I've done the fire temple and the water temple. Those bosses are easier than most of the goblins that I fought. Like
That's wild. That's so
I
wild. Yeah,
beat
yeah,
the
yeah.
fire temple person in my very first try.
Mhm.
And the water one was the one where I lost like pretty much all my weapons, but it only took me like 3 or 4 tries to do it, even with that frustration. And yet I'm getting one shotted by these like stupid minor like goblin things. I don't know. It's really frustrating to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Do
you just
I've experienced that. It is like quite frustrating. It feels like a little random too, because I've noticed that it isn't like every time. But there's sometimes where it's like, wait, what the? You're just like, wait, what? Like, what just happened? I agree. I don't think that the early gameplay in respects to that is very balanced. I haven't been running into it probably as much as you because my approach to combat is very like ranged.
How do you have enough arrows for that? Because I only have like 10 arrows at a time.
Oh, I have like 70.
I get like no arrows. Absolutely none. There was literally a part where I needed arrows to solve a puzzle and I had to teleport somewhere else to buy arrows so that I could come back and beat the puzzle because I didn't have arrows.
Have you been like destroying like every crate?
No.
So I mean, don't burn
I don't know that I've
crates.
run into that many.
Don't like burn crates and barrels and stuff that you see. Like destroy them. There's arrows in them.
I don't think I have run into that many.
Like
barrels.
Boxes?
I don't think
they're
I've
like
run into
everywhere.
That many.
Okay. Well,
are they
that's
on like roads? Are they in towns? Where are these boxes?
Like camps and stuff too. Like the.
But if they're in camps, I have to defeat those things that one shot me.
Yeah. My approach is like fire arrows or like electricity arrows from far away, and then I get more arrows because I destroy the crates and there's lots of arrows in the crates.
I guess I'll try. I feel like I've been avoiding those camps because every single time I fought a thing, it's just so frustrating that I haven't actually went to go do that. And so then maybe I'm running lean on a lot of the stuff that's needed in order to fight them. But I feel like I'm in this weird circle, weird,
that's like a weird circle. I mean, I will say it's not that great because like we have already kind of said, the rewards that you find, I think, are a bit lackluster. At least right now, I've found them to be quite disappointing. But yeah, at least the crates have arrows.
I'll investigate. I'll see. I think that's the biggest disappointment for me because Zelda for me was never a hard game. I know you said Breath of the Wild was your first one, kind of ish, but Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are not old school Zelda at all.
No,
fanboys can like fight me on it if they think that's not true.
I mean, it's not.
It's just not.
I mean, it's not.
It's just
not old school. It's not supposed to be. It was literally a reimagining, right? Like it's a reimagining of Zelda.
Yeah, and I think a part of the reason that I haven't vibed with this like these two reincarnations of Legend of Zelda as much as so many people have. Like, it's very clear this is an amazing game. The amount of reception that it's got is crazy. And for me, it's just not ever really hit for me. And I think it's because I loved the old school Zelda so much. And there really aren't a lot of games that do it as well as they did it. Like, we did Death's Door, and I feel like Death's Door scratched that itch for me really well.
I love that game so much.
Yeah, it was really good. I think Tunic scratched that itch for me really well. But I want Zelda to scratch the itch for me, and it just these two don't. There's just such a different game that it doesn't. And I want to come in, and I do love the puzzling aspects. The reason that I said that I liked Tears of the Kingdom way more is because I think the mechanic of like putting things together and building weird stuff is so fun, and it's such a cool puzzle mechanic that to me it makes it better. But at the same time, I want to do that, and I don't want to be one-shotted when I kill everything. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, there's no difficulty setting, so I'm just stuck with this, and it's I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just struggling right now. I'm struggling. It's hard, and I want to keep playing it. I just don't want to fight anything because of how hard it is.
And that sucks because that's like a huge chunk of the game.
Yeah. It's like, once again, it's hard out here.
It's hard out here. It's hard out here in Hyrule. It is. It's like kind of tough.
It is. Yeah. This gloom, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one last thing that I did want to mention is I do think that the Korok friend thing, we haven't quite talked about it. We've just talked about like the torturing of it, but to make the finding of korok seeds different in Tears of the Kingdom and kind of build on top of that. This time they've introduced the concept of you find a little korok with a huge backpack and he like can't move. He's too tired.
Like wiggling. So cute.
And he's wiggling. And you have to reunite him with his friend. The friend is always like across something or like farther away. And then you have to build materials or like build something to get him to his friend. And I do think that added such a cute little like aspect of finding the korok seeds in a way that was better than the first one. And I thought they did that 100%. Really well. Yeah.
No, totally agree. I feel like the korok seeds in the first ones were kind of just like a chore. And this one is so cute. Whenever I find one, I'm like, yay.
Yay, I get to reunite you with the friend. I also just, so then the reason why, for those who haven't played the game yet, all these TikTok videos of like korok torture, is because the backpack that he has that's oversized is the thing that your Ultra Hand can like pick up and attach things to. And so people have been building like literal crucifixes and then attaching the korok to it and like setting it on fire and like, or like attaching the korok to a rocket and like shooting him in the air. It's very wild. People are creative.
Yeah, I just get them gently back. I build them.
No, I do.
Put them on there.
As much as possible, gently, except when I accidentally halfway drown them because the log that I attach them to turns over in the river. Yeah.
Whoops.
Because I go for efficiency. I'm not out here trying to build a beautiful boat with everything on. I'm like, attach him to a log and send him over.
It works until it doesn't.
Yeah, it works until it doesn't. Okay. Do we want to do our wrap-ups?
Okay. So I would obviously recommend the game. I know there's a big sigh before I say recommend. I would recommend it to people who like Breath of the Wild. Yeah. And I know that that's like a weird way to say that, but if you like Breath of the Wild, you're gonna like this game. I feel like they definitely improved on Breath of the Wild, but I don't feel like they changed so much about it that if you didn't like Breath of the Wild, you're gonna magically like this one. I don't think that really meets expectations as someone who didn't really like Breath of the Wild. I think I would still recommend it though, just to try it out. I know it's kind of an expensive try it out, so if you liked Breath of the Wild, that's kind of what I would pin it on. The feelings that I had with it was it just wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was, again, really creative, a lot more fun than the first one for me. I probably, if we didn't have this podcast, would have quit earlier because I was getting frustrated with some of the combat pieces so much that I just was mad. But at the end of the day, I think I know we're not allowed to give it halves because of the website, but I would give it a 3.5 is I think what I would give it. At some portions,
3.5
game. 3, I had written it down, but it's gone now. 3.5 mushroom hats.
Nice. The best part of the game.
Yeah, the best part of the game. I think that parts of it are 4s and 5s for me, and parts of it are 2s and 1s, which is why it is sitting in there. And if the combat was better, I would bump it up for like a 4+. And maybe I'm just bad, and that's okay. But if you're a person who's really bad at combat and feels compelled to also fight everything, it's going to be a little frustrating. So yeah. Maddie, what about you?
Recommend it. I agree. If you love Breath of the Wild, you're going to love this. It's going to be fun. I would give it 5. I mean, I haven't finished it yet. So I'm going to tend to, so I think the reason why Breath of the Wild was a 5 out of 5 for me is because I'd never played anything like it. Now that I have played something like it, I think I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 korok backpacks.
I love it.
Because it is really fun and enjoyable. I don't know if it's doing anything new enough for me to be like, wow, this is really pushing gaming in a certain
Yeah.
way, whereas I think Breath of the Wild actually did like push gaming like forward in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And not that 5 out of 5 games necessarily have to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I gave it a 3.5.
And I'm trying to be more precious with my 5 out of 5s.
Yeah, I mean, for other people, I could see how this is a 5 out of 5 game. So I think, it's just different opinions.
And
different
this is like borderline 5 out of 5 for me, honestly, because I do really just love this game. But
yeah.
Maybe when I finish it, it'll push up to 5 out of 5. But
yeah, we can do a mini revisit when we finish it.
We're gonna have to, because we're not gonna be able to finish Diablo 4 when we play that either.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
So we'll have I like already scheduled. I think on our shared calendar, I think I tentatively put it in like early August or something of revisiting Breath of the Wild and Diablo.
Yes, give us some time to circle back, digest
months later. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
And I have the close for today, so
yeah, great.
All right. Thanks for listening to our podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe/follow, whatever the platform calls it, and rate it. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Baddy Breakdowns, and visit our website, baddybreakdowns.com, made by Bridget Keene. The podcast art was done by Tanisha Vernikar, and the podcast was edited by me, Maddie Wisnat. Join us next time to hear us two baddies break down Planet of Lana.
Woo!
It's a little indie puzzle game. It's pretty short. It's on Game Pass and on Steam and probably other things, but
my wallet needs a break after $70 of Zelda.
Yeah.
Free game.
And Horizon Zero Dawn. Was that one quite expensive, or was that $20 free? I think it was probably like $20.
Oh, I subscribed to PS, whatever their name is.
Oh.
Yeah. I know. I'm subscribing to a competitor. How do I feel? I will say though that I probably should at least pause my subscription now, because I've only been playing Zelda, so I need to button that up.
Yeah. Don't spend unnecessary money. You just bought a house and you have a wedding.
Don't have money. Help, I'm poor.
You're house poor. That's what they call it.
Yes, yeah. For at least a few months. It's fine. Yeah. Only free games for the next No, just kidding.
Only Game Pass and or free games.
Yeah.
As we wait for Diablo to come out, and then we'll probably purchase that.
I was like, for the next list, I think I still have to purchase a few, but it's fine. Actually, no, I take it back. One of the ones that we are doing, I pre-ordered and already spent that money. It's gone.
It's gone. Sunk cost.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Diablo 4 might be fun because we get to play it together, maybe.
Is it multiplayer? I've never played a Diablo. Okay, yeah. I'm ready. Okay, are you ready for me to be bad?
Mm-hmm. Okay, but also we're playing Planet of Lana next. Just FYI. Just say that again.
Planet of Lana, everybody be ready.
Got a little sidetracked there. All right, bye!